Hey everybody, it's Daniel here from FRS. Hope you're all doing well. So let's talk about markets. We got quite the selling happening in the equity indices, in crypto, and a lot of markets. What can we take from, this selling that we've been getting, especially since, the start of this week. We've been seeing the S&P 500 um, you know, pull back from its all-time highs and sitting around this trend line that we see here, this white trend line, miniature small trend line. Um, is this the end? I mean, we got 1 week left in August. Then we've got September rolling in, and historically and by consensus, the consensus view is that generally people tend to be bearish during the end of August and into September. So are we seeing that right now, this pullback? How bad can this pullback get? Are we going to see a continuation of more selling? Should we be fearful or not? Well, when you look at positioning on a lot of these indexes, so far, the positioning on S&P, Russell 2000, Dow Jones continue to be more towards for the large speculators on the under not overly long into these indexes. So they're basically not as bullish as one would expect. However, on NASDAQ, on the other hand, there are a lot of positions, especially large speculators who are massively long, so more prone for bigger shakeouts. So we could definitely see that. Now, when you look at the NASDAQ, it has hit that trend line real nice here, and we pulled back to the 50-day SMA here, the moving average here. And we're bouncing up pretty nicely so far. The only question is, will this hold and will we continue to move up, or will we see a continuation of a pullback? Same thing with the S&P 500. We did break the 20-day moving average here. We have not reached to the 50-day. However, we are on this trend line where we did see this nice kind of bull run, take place after April, right? So, and we're also touching, or not touching, but we're close to that support level where the markets were previously in a range. Now, again, do we break this? Do we go touch the 50-day moving average? And NASDAQ also breaks this and continues to move lower. That we'll have to see, as we have we have the FOMC minutes today coming out at 2 o'clock. And then we have Jerome Powell coming out to speak as well on Friday at the Jackson Hole event. So traders, investors, we're all waiting to hear on what's the direction with rates. Are we getting that rate cut in September, especially after PPI's hot number? Do we get that rate cut? Although CPI was lower, do we get that rate cut or do we not? How dovish is the Fed going to be? Is the Fed going to be hawkish? And you're seeing that pullback and that tantrum happen because, one, fears of what the Fed's going to say this week. Number two, sentiment around, August, end of August and September being typically bearish. And you're seeing a lot of the FANG stocks, all the FANG names, the tech names, massively red. You're seeing that, if you look at other stocks like NVIDIA, it has broken its 20-day moving average as well. When you look at Apple, it is also breaking lower. Microsoft is also selling off, sitting on the 50-day moving average. It's pulled back from its pop that it had after earnings. So a lot of the tech names just pulling back aggressively here, but not too aggressive, but pulling back, and it's normal because we've been rallying for quite some time. So a pullback is definitely healthy. The only question I have going forward is if everyone and expects that we're gonna see continuation of more selling in this next week and in September, will it happen? Right? Consensus always tends to generally be on the wrong side. So we tend to see, if everyone is too bearish, and especially the positioning is telling us on S&P 500 and Russell, it's still not as bullish as one would think, then that could mean we still have more upside to go. And that's where I mostly lean towards. I believe that we do have more upside to go, and I believe that these shakeouts and these pullbacks are just temporary. It would be no surprise to me if everyone's expecting a bad September and we end up turning around and rallying higher, and then people realize they missed the dip as they always do, and then end up chasing higher. Right? I think this pullback is also due to maybe people chasing the tops and getting shaken out here, right? Getting that FOMO and watching things move up. So I'm still on the camp that I believe that we can continue to see this move up higher. The question is when. The question is, where does this stop? The question is, what's the sentiment also during that time? Are people still bearish, or do they come in and say, okay, this is the dip, let's buy it, and then maybe we get a pullback up, or maybe after people buying it, the worst case is we see it sell off further, right, causing more panic, which would be probably the worst case scenario. But knowing human psychology, seeing positioning, I think most people are going to miss this dip, and I think we might see a turnaround. Another thing would be very interesting and not a surprise is we get Powell on Friday coming out saying whatever he wants to say. It's not as bad, or if it's tilted a little bit more to the hawkish side, maybe we get some selling and then we just shrug it off and we move back up higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Am I saying that's going to happen exactly? No, not necessarily. I don't know. But it wouldn't be a surprise if we get selling now until Friday and then all of a sudden markets turn around. Typical action, typical behavior of for the markets to do something like that. So S&P 500 here is sitting on this trend line. We'll continue to monitor and see if it breaks it or not. It did get some buying. Nvidia is getting some buying as I'm speaking. Microsoft is still selling off. Apple is getting some selling right now as I'm speaking. It's a little bit of dip buyers coming in, but not strong enough yet. And same thing for when we see here, NASDAQ got a little bit of some buying there on the 50-day. We look at Russell 2000, did pull back close to all-time highs, sitting on the 20-day, and then the Dow holding up stronger, hasn't touched the 20-day, but just holding up there. So also another thing forgot to mention as well is you're also seeing asset rotation where money's flowing out of the tech names and trickling into the Dow, to the Russell, to stocks that have been underperforming for some time, and we can expect some move up higher. When we look at also the sectors, we're seeing that defense is in play this last couple days, and today we're seeing energy pick up a bid here. We're seeing real estate, we're seeing staples do well, healthcare as well. financials, all in the green. So you're kind of seeing that defensive is being bought and more of the risk on the technology, the discretionary, the communications, industrial. We're seeing more of a selling, more especially on the tech side, which again tells you people are moving towards more defensive, rotation, and etc. So when I look at all of this, I don't see any reason to panic, and it's just typical. Same thing here with Bitcoin. We saw quite the pullback as well, and the 50 hitting at the 50-day moving average. Again, risk assets underperforming. So again, I don't see anything to say that there's a reason to be concerned or any reason to panic all of a sudden. It's typically it's normal, and you're just seeing rotation, some fears, and this could all quickly change very soon. So yeah, let's continue to monitor this. If you want to know more about other markets like fixed income, currencies, crypto, metals, and so forth, we go more in details about that in the private chat room. Feel free to subscribe. The link is in the description if you like. And until then, I'll see you guys around. Cheers. Bye.